Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your October 2022 tarot card and astrology reading. Before we get started, I wanted to wish all of the October Scorpios a very happy birthday. Hope you guys get to do something super fun and special for your special day. I pre-recorded a little message, so stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jane. I am so thrilled to have you here. For the October readings this month, I've done something just a little bit different. So I'm starting to include a new astrology portion to this reading. I feel like that could add so much more value to each and every one of you as you navigate and try to understand how all of this is going down. October is a huge month astrologically. We have a lot of the outer planets starting to move, and we are building up to an eclipse on the 25th. So there's just a lot to really think about and consider. So the timestamp for both the tarot portion and the astrology portion will be found in the description box down below. And this is one of the reasons why I've separated the big monthly video into 12 separate videos instead of just one big long video. And as always, if you are a subscriber, please be sure to log into your account at janeinternational.com, navigate to the blog page, and you'll see all the comprehensives that you've signed up for available there. All right, now with all that being said, let's get into it. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your October 2022 tarot card reading. So happy birthday, first and foremost. I know I said that already, but just want to say it again to all the October Scorpios out there. I know that as your season is introduced, it's going to be a powerful shift into your season because of that eclipse that's happening like right away. Plus Saturn is just going direct and all that. And I do talk about all of that in the astrology portion of this reading. So be sure to check out those links down below. So let's go ahead and get into these cards. We start off with the Knight of Wands. Now, to me, when I look at this, I'm like, okay, Scorpio is ready to just fly. Scorpio is ready to go, ready to make stuff happen. And I think that you're feeling a magic that is kind of bubbling up inside of you, a creation energy of some sort. Not creation in terms of the external world, but I think it's more creating yourself, which is one of the most profound forms of magic that is available to us as human beings. Manipulating ourselves and changing and altering and transforming ourselves and our minds and our hearts and finding deeper levels of passion and will within us. And I feel like that's really what October is going to be about for you. There are goals, yes, right? There are external goals, of course. There are goals that you're going to want to chase after, that you're going to want to work towards. But really, it has nothing to do with those. The reason you have these goals at this particular moment in time is because your soul is needing you to expand. And that's being made apparent by this Mars in the 8th house. In the environment, we have the world, which signifies a massive turnover in your world. And I talk a lot about a portal. This portal of time that we are in, the chunk of time. I don't really like the word portal because I think it makes it sound much more magical and mystical than it actually is. But it is just like a period of time with this Uranus North Node conjunction being activated, especially by the eclipse, the new moon eclipse, the initial eclipse in this cycle on the 25th of October. It's kind of like saying, all right, Scorpio, it's your time to walk through. It's your time to step through. It's your time to show up and to take up space and to really make your mark in whatever it is that you are doing, to make your mark within your communities, within your families, within your industries, within whatever space that you're in. And I do feel a readiness, and I have felt a readiness from Scorpio for quite some time now. And I feel as though this readiness is being supported by your hard work, right? Like you're really showing up here, 10 of Wands. And there's a lot that you kind of have to do on your own. And I know that you would really love to partner with someone and have collaborations, but there is something that's saying, you know what? No, I got to do this on my own. I have to be the one that does the legwork. And it's not because you're being controlling, I don't think. It's not because you need to get it done right, you know. It's not because you don't believe that other people can. It's that this is something that you need to do for yourself. You need to prove to yourself that this is possible, that you're capable. And I think you're wildly optimistic about that. I'm seeing so much optimism with these wands here. Knight of Wands, Page of Wands. I just simply don't see Scorpio feeling pessimistic or low about really anything. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have a perfect month and that everything's going to go perfectly and that every single day is going to be awesome. I'm not saying that. Although, even in the not so awesome times, specifically that full moon conjunct Chiron in Aries, okay, that's happening on the 9th of October. That particular full moon may feel very heavy because Chiron is a heavy asteroid. But yet still, even through the heaviness, I still see Scorpio being optimistic and thrilled to be able to have that opportunity to do what they're doing. And I do feel a speed factor. Even though Mars is slowing way down, preparing for his retrograde, I mean, he's barely moving throughout October. He's only going to move like 5 degrees between the 1st and the 30th when he goes retrograde. So, I mean, it's like the whole month he's only moving 5 degrees. So he is just like pumping on the brakes. But Scorpio is saying to themselves, nope, I don't care what the environment is really doing. This actual Mars retrograde, or this Mars slowing down, preparing for retrograde, is actually enabling me to get ahead of other people, because I know they're slowing down. And because I know that that's what they're doing, I'm not going to let myself. There is something about like the permission that you give yourself here, right? You're not going to give yourself permission to quit. You're not going to give yourself permission to slow down. You're not going to give yourself permission to flake out on something. I feel that the determination from Scorpio this month is the highest and the strongest that it has been all year. And I think it feels really, really, really good for you. I think it feels good for you because maybe there have been energies of just like wavering and wandering and not really knowing and not being sure and like questioning your ability, questioning your value, questioning your skill. It's just, I think that right now with this Chariot, you're really stepping up to the plate and you're saying, ready or not, here I come. Ready or not, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's one thing I do like about Scorpio, is while they do like things to be as perfect as possible, they are not one to allow imperfections to prevent them from moving forward. Whereas Virgo can be debilitated by lack of perfection sometimes, right? But Scorpio says, of course I want it to be up to my standard, which is very high. But I'm not going to allow the fact that it isn't perfect to allow everything to come crumbling down. Like, we can fix it. We can still go forward with it, and we can fix it along the way, and we can improve along the way. So I'm still going to charge forward. I'm going to continue to push forward with this. Now, with the 9 of Coins in the reversal, it tells me like I kind of am feeling a little bit of a fear. But I like the fear for you. Because I like it because it's actually not founded. It's all just kind of mental. It's all in your mind. But the fear is actually what is sort of creating the pressure that you need to get hyper-focused and that you need to get hyper-productive. The fear of not having the money, the fear of being alone, the fear of the hard work, or the fear of whatever, right? The fear of it is compressing you. It's adding pressure. But of course, we know that, like I always love to say, quote that, it was an Incubus song back in the day, if I can age myself here, but it was like, even diamonds start as coal, right? So the pressure, the immense pressure that you operate so well under, right? You do operate well. I mean, actually, Scorpio, part of the archetype is about being buried under things, right? And that's why, or being buried under, digging deep. That's why things like the mining industry, and even surgeons, like surgery is often associated with Scorpio because of how they dig into these like unknown and unexplored places, these dangerous places. That's why there's a lot of like Scorpio trauma, ER doctors, that kind of thing, because that's a Scorpio thing. So by putting yourself under that immense pressure, that is actually how you truly shine. And again, I don't think the threat is real. I think that it is a generated threat that you've created in your mind specifically to get you to do the things you know you need to do. So with the hyper-focused nature, plus with the freedom and the optimism and the movement and the energy of the Knight of Wands, actually Scorpio is like the unstoppable right now. Like truly you are the unstoppable. And no one's going to see it coming, because I think there's a lot going on behind closed doors, because with Libra, Venus and the sun and even Mercury coming into that 12th house, it's all very private. It's all very isolated. It's all behind closed doors. No one is going to see this coming. And it may not even happen through October or November. It may not happen until like December, January, February, when you actually start like saying, here it is. Here is the product of my work, right? Even here with the reversal kind of speaks to that as well, of saying, I'm not ready to share, I'm not ready to expose. But what's actually really, now when this card came out, I was smacked in the face. The Six of Cups I have a mixed relationship with. Sometimes this card comes out and it makes me so happy. Sometimes it comes out and it confuses me. Sometimes I feel like it's not the best. It's such a versatile card. It's just one of those cards. And when I look at this today, in this context, what I'm seeing is your present self, meeting with your future self. This older child representing your future self, giving your present self a gift, giving you something beautiful. And that could be a strategy. It could be an idea. It could be the energy that you need. It could be the passion that's needed. It's going to be different for each and every one of you, depending on what you're building and what's brewing inside of you. But your future self is very much involved with what's going on right now. There is no separation between future and present in this moment in time. Okay, Saturn is now going direct. Saturn, the ruler of time, and it is, in your 4th house, which has a lot to do with like where you came from. And because it has to do with where you came from, it also has a lot to do with where you're going. It has a lot to do with the trajectory. Okay, so I feel that your future self is absolutely pulling you, and it's pulling you pretty hard. Like you've got an amazing cheerleader in yourself right now. It's pulling you on this chariot. I kind of feel like there's like a cord, and it's saying, you better do this now. You better come now, because I need you to do this now in order for me to be where I am today, kind of thing. It's kind of a weird feeling that I'm getting, but I don't feel that you are alone. I feel that you have your future self as a very stable and supportive companion. Okay. Now, as we have this 8 of Cups reversed, I do feel that there are things, I don't know, it's like you're ready, but there's a difference between the readiness of your soul and the readiness of the ego. Those are two kinds of readiness. And often we operate from the readiness of the ego, and we say, okay, I'm ready for all that money, and I'm ready for that love of my life, and I'm ready for this relationship, and I'm ready for this big home, and I'm ready. And your ego, just because it wants it, right? Because it saw something, it sees it with other people, it sees it on social media, it sees it in a magazine or on a website or whatever, it sees it, and that very perception immediately creates a desire. And that's an ego desire. And then we have the soul desire, which is much more strong-willed. And I feel right now that your soul desire is leading, but that means your ego is still holding back. Your soul is ready, but your ego is not. All right. So I feel that there is again, that's why the determination is so important, to not allow the fear to crumble you, but rather allow the fear to compress you for that hyper-focused progression. There's a lot, like I was just thinking, I'm like, okay, there's different types of ready. It's like when someone wins a lottery, right? Yes, there's an ego desire there, but like the question is like, are they truly ready? Like, is their soul ready for that, $100 million? Their ego's ready every day of the week. But that's why so many people lose the lottery winnings, because their soul is not ready or prepared to handle that amount of wealth. And, so there is a difference. There is a difference between ego readiness and soul readiness. And then sometimes, it's like you meet the love of your life at a time when your life is completely a mess and your soul is ready, but your ego is not. Right? And so there's two different kinds of that. So I feel like your soul is ready right now. Your ego is not. So you're going to have to get over that ego. Now we have this temperance, which is beautiful because it's very calm and peaceful. And what it recommends whenever it comes out is really just take it day by day, especially with the Page of Wands. Like, you don't have to do all the things all at once. You are going to have so much movement and so much progress with just step by step. So when you look at all the things in front of you that need to be done, what I would recommend is just chopping it up into like daily tasks. And I know that's such a Virgo thing, and I'm sorry about that, but I see a page and I can see a Knight of Wands getting overzealous and trying to leap ahead and trying to skip steps. But this Page of Wands is saying, don't skip the steps, because if you skip the steps, you are going to create havoc and chaos and frustration, and it's not going to go smoothly. There is potential for everything to go smoothly right now. There is potential for everything to work, for everything to get straightened out, especially if you have had a lot of hiccups, especially like with technology or communication or with travel, with Mercury being in retrograde and Mars being in pre-shadow and all that, and even Saturn being in retrograde with Aquarius. I feel like all that kind of hiccup type stuff has the potential to get totally ironed out. All right, but you have to kind of take it as a step at a time. And that will make it easier to stomach, make it easier to process. And then we have this Knight of Coins in the reversal, which is, actually, I'm looking at both of these, actually, with the Nine of Coins as well. Five of Coins. Okay, so there does seem to be a question of value. So one of the things about like manifestation, right? Unfortunately, I feel that it has become a little too focused on what you want to get. There's so many things like, oh, this is what I want to get, and I want to focus on the feelings that feel good, and I want to focus on all these things. And it's all true. Like, I'm not saying that that's wrong, but it's still so focused. There is still so much emphasis on what we want to get. And like, if you were to go to a marketplace, let's say like an old marketplace with the tents, like a farmer's market or something like that, you were to go to this marketplace and you were to stand in your booth and you were to say, I want this big house, and I want this money, and I want this relationship. If you were to declare that out to the marketplace, people would look at you like you were crazy, right? Because your wants and your needs don't really have value. No one's going to buy it. No one is going to buy the thing that you want. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no transactionable product or anything of value. Like the things that you need doesn't help someone else. Now you can use your needs and your desires as motivation, but it's to motivate you to bring your highest value asset, skill, talent, knowledge to the forefront and lead with that. Let's say you are someone who is really good at like wood crafting. Well, that's something that you can come to the marketplace with, and you can say, well, clearly, okay, let's say you need a salad bowl. All right, well, here's a beautiful handcrafted wood salad bowl. That's something people need, right? That's the value, providing something that people need. Do you see what I'm saying? And I feel that there's kind of this like turnaround for Scorpio right now in terms of really going inward and saying, what do I have to offer? How can I make this world a better place? What can I provide? What can I teach? What can I give? What can I provide to make someone else's life better? And there's so much more focus on that right now for Scorpio, because there is an emphasis on the world with the environment. You're concerned about your environment. You're concerned about your community and your people and the effect that we all have on one another, especially your own effect. And I know you see brokenness out there. I know you see struggle. I know you see strife. I know you see frustration and anguish and all of these things. I know you see it and I know you feel it. So the trick is here now to say, with all of these things of value that I possess in terms of who I am, how can I then bring that into the world in a way that benefits them as well as benefits me? Because your needs and your desire, like I say, the needs and wants that you have are not valuable to them, but they're extremely valuable to you because they are the carrot on the stick. They are the very things that lead you to become the person that you are destined to become. Chariot. This is all about destiny. This is about ascension. This is about higher vibrations and reaching new levels and new heights of existence, better lifestyle, better relationships, better connection, better living environment. This is all an improvement. This is all about improvement, Scorpio. So there's something beautiful cracking loose for you. And I would also argue for Taurus as well. There's something beautiful cracking loose, cracking open. And there are new beginnings because we are having a new moon eclipse in Scorpio. 2 degrees of Scorpio on the 25th. Okay? You are going to surprise yourself. In the months to come, I guarantee you are going to you're going to be floored when you see what you are capable of doing. And I know you already know what you're capable of doing because you've already done so much. You've built so much, you've succeeded so much, you've healed so much, you've progressed so much, you've earned so much. Like you have already done this so many times, but this is like a moment where you consciously do it, right? You consciously do it. And through your consciousness, you become a true magician at its finest. It's a beautiful moment. Okay. So Scorpio, let's go ahead and pull out the clarifiers for the comprehensive reading. If you're new here, bear with me. I'm about to say a mouthful to kind of introduce this to you. So the cards I'm about to pull out are the cards we will cover in the comprehensive reading. All the information and how to access that will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below. We usually talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about these cards, so you kind of get like a whole full other reading. Now, I'm always going to have like single one-off purchases. That's always has been the case, and I'm not going to change that. So you most certainly can always access that. Those links will be in the description box. The old website will be up and everything. But if you do want to subscribe, which is just to automatically get access to the comprehensives without going through the purchase process every single month, you can certainly do that as well. And you can also join my Soul Seekers group, which automatically gets access to all 12 comprehensives every single month. Plus, we're doing a lot more exclusive content. We've got full moon and new moon analyses. We've got an educational series going up now. We've got big astrological transits that we talk about. So there's just a lot going on in the Soul Seekers group, which I'm so excited about. And as soon as you sign up, you get access to all the old content. Okay, so you don't have to it's not like you miss out on anything. You'll have access to everything. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead here and take a look. We're going to start by clarifying the Knight of Wands. We've got the King of Cups. Pardon my stomach. I'm hungry. I've not eaten breakfast this morning. Got the King of Cups. I love that Scorpio card. We got the Six of Coins. And we have the Empress. Amazing. For the environment, what is going on around you? Another World card. The world is changing. Queen of Swords. And Four of Wands reversed. Okay. So now let's take a look at these 10 cards. We start with 10 of Wands. Six of Coins reversed. Emperor reversed. Queen of Cups. Seven of Coins. 10 of Cups. And Two of Swords. Page of Wands. Five of Cups. Happy to see the Page of Wands twice. Oh, goodness. Jeez. Okay, well, I don't normally like to pull out four, but since three came out, okay, we got Strength, Five of Wands, and the Three of Cups. Knight of Cups. Judgment, the Devil. Justice, Six of Cups reversed. Five of Swords. Yeah, your mind is not going to be entirely on board with what's happening right now. This is all, I mean, when Pluto goes direct, right, your other ruling planet in addition to Mars, another Queen of Coins, there are certainly unconscious or subconscious drivers operating here. Something is just pulling you forward. Beautiful. I love the pages for you this month. Another Five of Coins. And a Moon card. Okay. So this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive. So if you want to join, you are 100% more than welcome. And I truly hope to see you there. Again, all that information will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below. All right. Thank you so much. Have an amazing month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to the astrology portion of your reading for October 2022. So let's go ahead and dive into this. We're just going to bring out some of the major points that you need to be aware of for the month, so you can understand like which parts and which houses and which areas of your life are being activated. So first and foremost, we have to take a look at the sun. Now, the sun, as we begin October, is obviously well on its way through Libra. Here it is, October 1st, sitting at 8 degrees of Libra. Venus has just entered into Libra as well, so now she is sitting pretty in her rulership, and Mercury will be, stationing direct, moving direct, and coming into Libra on the 10th. Okay, so the first week and a half, we do have a ton of emphasis on this Libran energy. Now for you, this is 12th house. So whenever we have 12th house energy, there's always some kind of a sacrifice that's needing to be made, whether it's a sacrifice of time, right? Or of resources, or sacrificing an opportunity for something else. And that's not always the easiest, but I always feel that it's for the best, right? That we always kind of come to that conclusion. Hopefully immediately we can come to that conclusion, but if not, later on down the road, we can always look back and say, yeah, you know what? I'm really glad that I didn't do this one thing and I decided to do this other thing instead. I understand how all these pieces of the puzzle really connect. 12th house can also be a very isolating house too, where we kind of tend to pull away, or we want to be a little bit more introverted or more in our private space and our private time. We just kind of want to listen to our music and do our meditations and, maybe work from home a little bit. Maybe there is a little bit of element of travel for you. You're wanting to get away, something like that. All of that kind of stuff is great. And if you can get away, I would. If you can get away to a place that has a beautiful landscape, that you really love. Maybe you live in a city and you love the mountains. So maybe you can go to the mountains or to the beach or some people love the desert. I'm not a huge fan of the desert, but if you love the desert, go for it. Wherever really rings true to your heart, whatever makes your heart sing. And I think taking pleasure in the ease of life, because what's going to happen, okay, and I'd say take advantage of this through the first couple of weeks of October, because what's going to happen is as we make our way a little bit further, or as the sun makes its way a little bit further into Libra, it's going to come into an opposition with Chiron around the 10th, around the 9th actually, which is going to be the day of the full moon in Aries. Now, that full moon in Aries is going to be conjunct Chiron. So we have a moon conjunct Chiron and a sun in the 12th house. So this is absolutely 100% about healing. And that could be healing the physical body, healing the spiritual body, or both. There may be an element of both that comes through. So doing the things that are good for your physical and spiritual well-being has to be at the forefront of your priority list. And if getting away means sacrificing an extra day at the office, then by all means, it's not worth it to be at the office if you actually really do need to disconnect. Now, some of you may feel energized and feel charged, and that would be great if you do feel that. Although it's very difficult when Chiron is at play to feel that, because Chiron can bring out, it can go both ways, right? Because Chiron can be an exposer, where he exposes our wounds and our pain. But it's all for the sake of healing, but we have to have that exposure first. We have to understand it. It has to come into consciousness before we can truly heal it. And there's many, 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 many layers, right? But he can also bring you into greater levels of determination too, because it's because I had this trauma, because I experienced this pain, and this particular event in my life imprinted in my mind, because of this, I am now more determined than ever to succeed. I am determined now more than ever to be the best that I can possibly be. And I think we are moving through right now Libra season and on into Scorpio and Sagittarius season. These are some of the most magical months of the year in terms of manifestation. Because I think spring and autumn are the most magical of the year because we actually can visually see the changes taking place, right? We can see the leaves turning colors and falling off the trees. We can see that we are moving from one season into another. And so I feel that spring and autumn are like these catalyzing seasons for us. So we get to speed up or speed through that process of change. And usually through that time, through the process of change, a lot happens and a lot of productivity and a lot of efficiency occurs, right? We can accomplish things very quickly. We also have the benefit of just like nice weather a lot of times too, where it's like not as hot as it was. So we can feel more like a human being once in a while, it's not so hot or it's not so cold. It's comfortable. We can be comfortable in our own skin and we can be comfortable in our environments. And with that comfort comes a greater ease of application, right? Not to mention only that, but we've got some big things happening too through October. So on October 8th, okay, just a couple days before that full moon is going to be like really intense, guys. And I know that the Pisces full moon that we had, back in Virgo season, that Pisces full moon, I think was really good for coming into acceptance that we're moving on, right? There was a lot of like letting go with that and accepting kind of the fact that we're moving into a new season. But this full moon, all right, because it is coupled with a Pluto moving direct, and also not only that, but Saturn is slowing way, way, way down, okay, like super slow. And he's going to be going direct on the 23rd of October at the same time when Venus and the Sun both in conjunction with one another come into Scorpio. Okay, so the 23rd is a huge day. And I think that the time between the 8th rather, when Pluto goes direct, and then we've got that full moon on the 9th. Did I say the 10th for some reason? I'm kind of like having my list and I may have accidentally said that. So let me just be very, very clear. Pluto goes direct on the 8th. The full moon is on the 9th. Saturn goes direct on the 23rd. Okay, so just wanted to get that all clear. So yes, we have Pluto moving direct coupled with that full moon the next day. So we're going to feel that pushing along. And I think when Pluto goes direct, that determination is really going to start stirring up for us. And then between the full moon on the 9th and the transition into Scorpio season and Saturn going direct on the 23rd, right? 3 big transits on the 23rd. Saturn direct, Venus and the Sun come into Scorpio. Vroom, big change over there. Not to mention that a couple days after, on the 25th, we have a new moon eclipse in Scorpio. This is the month, guys. Like, if you've been waiting for something, this is probably the moment you've been waiting for. If you've been holding off on doing something, if you have been, really trying to wait until the time was right, I don't know what other indications we need for me to tell you, like, the time is now. Like, we're running out of time with this North Node in Taurus and South Node in Scorpio situation. We're running out of time. We don't have that much longer with this transit here because we can see this is sitting at 13 degrees. So it's already made its way halfway through. And these eclipses have all included Uranian energy. We're going to have the full moon total eclipse on November 8th at 16 degrees of Taurus, which means that's going to be conjunct Uranus. So when we're talking about change and when we're talking about this portal of time, that's how I'm kind of describing this Uranus North Node conjunction. It's a portal in that it is a chunk of time. It is a period of time wherein we get to launch ourselves into new paths and new directions, and we get to embrace the person that we ultimately are hoping to become. And for many of you, there's going to be big changes within your relationships, and you can make great strides. If you are single, you could find someone. If you are married, you can take your marriage to a whole new level of commitment and a whole new level of dedication and devotion. And that could be the catalyst through which a lot of wonderful things start to happen because you have that support with each other. But for many of you, there's a lot of self-reliance as a theme as well. Like you're going to have to do stuff yourself. You're going to have to figure it out on your own. And while you can have friends and you can have family members, all, mentors, advisors, counselors, all that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, you know that you're the one that's going to have to do it. You're the one that's going to have to put the pedal to the metal and make something happen. All right, because that new moon eclipse is happening in your first house at 2 degrees. So your first house, that's you. That's you utilizing your body and your vessel and your mind for your own advantage. And there has to be that kind of self-acceptance and that self-responsibility and accountability. But yeah, I don't want to... there's still a lot going on, but I know we're going to talk a lot about this when we do the tarot reading. I'm recording this before I'm doing the cards. Also, not to mention this Mars in Gemini, I totally forgot to mention this, right? We have a Mars going retrograde on the 30th. So that's building up. So between the 1st, which is where I have this calendar set, October 1st, and the 30th, this is only going to move like 5 degrees. So Mars is moving super slow in the Uranian decan. Okay, the decans or decans, as some people say, are 10 degrees chunks of a sign, right? So we have the Mercury ruled decan or decan. I say decan. Which is like the Gemini decan, then we have the Libra decan, then we have the Aquarius decan. So utilizing modern astrology, we have the Uranian energy coming through here. So we have Mars slowing down in the Uranian or the Aquarian decan just after Saturn goes direct in Aquarius. And Mars beginning its retrograde here in your 8th house, which is a house of change and transformation. I don't know. Again, you're kind of a unique situation here because of the level of change. We're all going through change. That's going to be like a big theme. All right. Our lives are changing. Okay, fine. But for you especially, because this is happening in your 8th house, the sheer will that you're going to have to walk through this Uranus North Node conjunction portal and to take advantage of the things that are right in front of you is beyond what any of the other zodiac signs have. And this is what makes it unique for you. We've got eclipses in your sign, and it's a new moon eclipse. New moon. Now, a lot of people say don't do ceremonies, don't do manifestations during eclipses. These are dark times, dark energies. I personally, and I've made this known, significantly disagree with that. Although I don't think you should expect short-term resolutions to your manifestations during this time, I think we should think, in decades with these eclipses. Okay, where do you see yourself in 10 to 20 years, 30 years even? And set your intentions for like the super long scale. Because it takes an 18 and a half years for these nodes to come all the way back around. So we're talking like 20 years minimum, okay? So where do you see yourself in 20 years? And utilize the power of the eclipse to launch yourself 20 years down the line. But you can do those, but don't expect like, in the next 30 days, that's a little hokey and a little like get over yourself kind of thing. Longevity here with these eclipses because they are powerful, and they are especially powerful in fixed signs because the fixed energy, whenever we have a shakeup or some kind of I'm kind of like getting the image of like an earthquake, right? Like finally those plates like they break and everything kind of change. So when those nodes come through, they create kind of they shift your life a little bit. Boom. And it sends out these shock waves. It sends out this, this resonance. And it's hard and it's not easy in fixed signs, but it is probably the best thing that will ever happen to you at the same time. It's like because of what you do when the nodes are in fixed signs, because of the shifts that you are willing to make, because it feels harder to do it during this time. But when you do, they have these everlasting effects. All right, so it's a beautiful time in terms of aligning yourself with a higher destiny, but it does require the will to do it. And a lot of people won't, and they will cower and they will be afraid. And that's fine. That's on them. They can do and be whatever they need to do and be, fine. But I think for you who are on this spiritual path, who are on this journey, you're going to truly embrace this. It's going to be a beautiful month for you, especially as you have your solar returns, or as the sun comes over your ascendants, or as the sun comes in contact with your moon. I know that for me, I've got my moon in Scorpio, so I'm especially going to be utilizing, this eclipse actually for me is happening right on my Pluto. So it will be kind of an interesting eclipse. But I do think that a lot of people who have Scorpio placements, specifically sun, moon, rising, they're going to just feel really like they can't go back to their old life in no way, shape, or form. Okay? All right, so that's the end of the astrology portion. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys enjoyed this. I'm not sure if I want to keep it going, although I would like to, but if you guys don't want it, you just want the cards, that's fine. Let me know what you think. I hope you guys are doing amazing, and I wish you guys a happy, happy birthday. Take care.